Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Dropping Down from the Rafters podcast here on Toned In Entertainment. Joining me today on this episode, he is the co-promoter and matchmaker for Deep South Wrestling. Eric Adamz is here. How you doing, Eric?
You make me sound almost important. Thank you so much for having
Oh,
me
come
today.
on. Anybody that has gone, well, probably most people that go to a Deep South wrestling show don't really know how important you are to the show. But somebody who's had some behind the scenes, little knowledge, I know how important you are to these shows, Eric.
Thank you so much, Tony. I really appreciate it. Tony, before we start, I wanted to ask you a question. Obviously, what are we now? A quarter in, about 3 months you've been living here in Atlanta now, maybe a little more.
Yeah, since
How do you
November.
like it so? Yeah, how do you like it so far?
Man, it is I'm loving it, man. There's some challenges that have come, of course, with a big move and uprooting your life after living in Miami your entire life. It's a change, but let me tell you, man, people told me, was reaching out to people. I'm like, how's the wrestling scene in Atlanta? Because people are like, oh, when you leave Florida, you're gonna do wrestling anymore. I'm like, oh, let me try to find out. Some people were telling me, there's nothing going on in Atlanta. There's like one good promotion, there's not much going on. I come up here, man, at least in the Atlanta area, it is locked and loaded up here. I am
Yeah,
busy all the
it's
time and
really
loving it.
exploded. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really exploded here.
So I got a lot of misinformation, but I also got some good information as well, too, because the people that did tell me about like what promotions to check out, I got listed about three of them, and one of them was Deep South Wrestling, though.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's all Nick's doing. If you hear something good about Deep South, that's Nick Patrick.
Yeah. Oh, wait, the 40-ounce club. Is this a live chat? Yes, it's a live chat. Of course it's a live chat. We see you there,
C
40-ounce
Dub,
club. We see you
40
there,
ounce C
40-ounce.
Dub. Come on, everyone's
Yes.
favorite. The man
Yes.
with the chicken stick and Professor Payne's best friend.
Yeah. Big shout out to 40-ounce C Dub. I see him commenting all the time on the videos and resharing
Yeah.
stuff. So much appreciated to you, 40-ounce. Let's dive into some Deep South Wrestling. Of course, for those that don't know, it is owned by former WCW, WWE, and of course, most importantly, NWO referee Nick Patrick.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Nick is the owner. He made me a partner, but that's a whole nother story. Deep South's origins actually start in 1986 when when Black Saturday happened and Georgia Championship Wrestling got bought out by Vince McMahon. You had all these other companies come into play, and Jody Hamilton, the Mass Assassin, started his own called Deep South. Well, when Turner decided he was going to buy uh, the NWA from Crockett, he brought Jody on to become the trainer for the power plant. And Jody Hamilton was very instrumental. He was helped train Kevin Nash, Bill Goldberg, Diamond Dallas Page. I mean, the list goes on and on of great talents he trained. I mean, down all the way to celebrity trainings, like Carl Malone and Jay Leno and Kevin Green and all those guys. So Joey's had a great foot in the business. In 2007, I actually used to come down to Deep South trying to get a job. I was trying to get signed to get re-signed, and I was trying to get in. And Jody was trying his best to get me on board. He got me on a couple shows, and then unfortunately things happened. Deep South no longer was affiliated with the WWE, and I thought that'd be the end of it. And fast forward to June 2019, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and you know, at that time there wasn't a lot going on in the Atlanta wrestling scene actually, and so I was training, helping one of my teachers, Robert Gibson. I started helping co-train a lot of his students. I started booking for Robert Gibson, who had a little promotion out in Douglasville. But then the pandemic happened, and everything shut down. And where Robert had the school, the landlord decided he was going to sell all his properties and move over to the Gulf and be fishing for the rest of his days. He decided he was going to retire and go fishing because he knew he could sell his properties for good money. And that's when I found out Nick and Jody still had a ring. And that's when I visited right before Jody passed away.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you talked about a lot wasn't going on, in the Georgia area in the
Well, in the
2019, but
Atlanta scene,
or the
there
Atlanta
was
scene, I'm
nothing.
saying. Right,
There
Atlanta.
was Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, and that was it.
Right.
And you had that, you had WWA four, but WWA four was always more of and this is not to stultify the WWA four product in any way. I think it's very it's valuable. It's important to the scene to have a place like WWA four for people to learn how to expand their minds and become more creative. But WWA four was more of a every Thursday school show to me. But they still, like I said, they had some great storylines and they have some great matches. And there was nothing wrong with it. And AWE was running maybe once every 2 months. And that whole Atlanta scene was dead. And I was working for a lot of promoters and I heard the same thing every time. Oh, we're going to build it big here and then we're going to take it to Atlanta. And, you know, I knew that bullshit line from years. And I'm sorry, am I allowed to curse on here?
Yeah, you can. I'm not going to stop you.
Sorry. I learned from, years of working for other promoters where they would talk about, yeah, we're going to grow this and then we're going to take it to whatever the big city was, Knoxville, Louisville, Charlotte. They always talked about it, but nobody ever took the steps. And when Jody passed away, I went to Nick and I was like, Nick, I kind of want to do a show just as a tribute to Jody. And he was like, book the talent, pay the talent, book the venue. You have my blessing. And we booked this place in which was a old church that was no longer a church, and it was a mixed media studio off of Boulevard, which is really funny because now I live close to that area. And we ran 3 shows there. First one was free of charge, but $5 got you a BYOB bracelet so you could come in and drink, and we did that, and things started taking off a little bit. Then they got evicted because, they're a mixed media studio, so there's not a lot of money going on post pandemic immediately. So then we moved it over to Seven Stages Theater in Little Five Points. Did a couple shows there that went really great, and that's when we met Marty Buckafusco, who's our third man on the team. And me and Marty had a vision of what I really feel wrestling should be. I was never the great seller of merchandise, and I'll tell you why. One, I was a heel, and two, I think if you pay your 15, 20, some cases 25, $30 tickets to come see a wrestling show, I think it's bullshit that I'm charging you more money to buy more things. Because it gets muddied in the art. How many people are going to have rip-off versions of like the Roberto Duran shirt I'm wearing right here that they're going to wear, or steal like a no offense, a Rick and Morty logo. you know but I just it just became, there was nothing in Atlanta. I love it, and I fell in love with Atlanta. I really did. I've lived a bunch of different places. I loved Atlanta. I loved wrestling, and there had to be a way to do it to where we could still pay the talent because that was important to me, but not have to charge people to come see it. And that's when we found a place called Das Barbecue, and we worked out a deal with them. And it was very, very, very lucrative for them. They made tons of money on it, and then it just grew from there to all these other places asking, and then we started noticing everybody else starting to branch out into the Atlanta scene. And now, thankfully, we found New Realm Brewing, which is our home. And we're also now doing quarterly shows at the Atlanta Dairies. We're doing the Little Five Points Halloween Festival for the second year this year coming up. The Grant Park Summer Shade Festival. I'll announce it now here too. This is our second year in a row working with the Atlanta Stripers, where we're going to have wrestling matches at the Atlanta Stripers game. And we've got to do some really cool things that I don't see other companies doing in the area. I mean, and you can say you've seen it for yourself, bringing in Lexus King. We brought in Eric Bischoff when we crowned our first champion. We've got to do some cool things that I like to think are different. What's really cool about being on that belt line, we've had such celebrities like John Hamm, Owen Wilson, Gwen Stefani was supposed to come to one of our shows one time. Like she literally was there, and I saw her. I was like, "Come on, come check it out." And she's like, "I'll come back." And but we've done cool little things that I think are different, and that's what I kind of like about the Atlanta scene. It's become its own unique thing where it's not a competition. I mean, of course, there's going to be someone who has to do something stupid, but a lot of the promotions and promoters that live in Atlanta and promote in Atlanta, we all get along because we all have products that are, as you've seen going to these shows, all uniquely different in their own way. And I feel that's why, the Atlanta wrestling scene has become such a success.
Yeah, and most definitely, a lot of the shows I've gone to, so much talent everywhere right now in the
Yeah.
entire wrestling scene. And you're speaking about 2019. I know that's kind of when I started my journey as well too. I had done my first couple interviews, and then of course, COVID hit and
Yeah.
everything got shut down. And I remember going to the shows, and they were good. But I feel like, man, I'm just looking at all these pictures every week from not just Atlanta, but everywhere from Texas to California,
Yeah.
and it's packed, right? Like
Yes.
the people are going to professional wrestling. They're not just going to WWE or Impact or AEW. They're going to watch good professional wrestling now.
Well, that's accredited to the WWE because when the biggest fish is not only striving and being and having the I mean, look how great the WWE is doing. Monday Night Raw is where tonight? Is it still in Canada or did they move it to Buffalo, New York? I just know it's sold out tonight, and SmackDown's going to be sold out on Friday, and it's been almost a year where every television and every pay-per-view has been sold out. And once business is good like that, and I really feel like we're about to see the business take another even bigger turn. Because the thing is, we're in a boom period right now. I'm not smart. I know history in wrestling. I was 14 years old when I started back in the 1890s. So I've seen the boom and I've seen the collapse, and then I saw it die, and I've watched as it struggled back, and now I've seen where we are now. And I feel as if what we saw this past Saturday, we're going to see it come into another level even higher. And I've just been lucky enough. Unfortunately, during my career, that was, you got to think the same people you're seeing on TV now in front of 20, 30, 40,000 people were the guys I was wrestling with for $25, driving 3 hours, just back in like 2007, 2008, 2009. But I'm so happy for all of them. And, that was the other reason why Deep South was important to me. I'm old and decrepit. Okay. I've been doing this a
You're
while.
you're not decrepit, and you're
Oh,
not
yeah, I
old
am.
because we're about the same age. So I'm not going to call you old, sir.
I'm talking in Puerto Rican years. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm talking in Puerto Rican years. You lived in Miami. You know how that works. Okay. So you can call me the grandfather of failure if you want.
Never,
But the fact
never.
is, but the fact is, I see these kids, I see the chances and opportunities they can have. And that's why, and thanks to people like Nick Patrick who were willing to uh, see past issues and be able to work again with the WWE so we can bring in NXT talent, so we can bring in talent thanks to Nigel Zane from Wow Women of Wrestling to I'll just announce it here. We are going to be doing a Japan um, camp, tryout camp that Sonny Ono is going to be hosting. Perry Saturn will be there, and we're working on an even bigger name that's not only going to be there but wrestling, and that'll be coming in May or June. But stay tuned to Sonny Ono's. I believe he announced on social media today, and I will be seeing more about it this week. It's May or June, but we're going to be doing a full tryout camp where someone is going to get flown, hotel provided, everything taken care of for them to go wrestle for Dragon Gate or for Dragon Gate and one other company. I'm trying to remember what the other company is. Um, but just opportunities. I'm trying to give these kids opportunities that I never got.
Oh, that's sweet. I see there's a couple questions here. Let me get to Christina's question real quick. What was Jody's approach and philosophy to training? Could you speak to his ability to train the big man?
I mean, Jody was the big man whisperer. I mean, you look at guys like Kevin Nash, in my opinion, one of the greatest big men to ever work in this business. Kevin Nash wasn't just 7 feet tall. I know people like to joke and say he had five moves and that's it, but I dare anyone to watch that In Your House pay-per-view with him and Shawn Michaels. I dare anybody to watch the Kevin Nash Undertaker matches. The thing is, with Jody's philosophy of training big men, it wasn't really a less is more as much as make sure everything you do makes sense and makes it work. And Jody was all about conditioning and training. Just because you were 7 foot tall didn't mean you were allowed to be like slovenly. You look back in the in the 70s and 80s when there were 7 foot guys, and this is nothing against Andre the Giant. I'm not talking about Andre. Andre had a medical condition, but you look at guys like Silo Sam, who, yeah, they were 7 feet tall, but you know they didn't have that body. They didn't have it condition. And then you see Kevin Nash, this guy with abs and jacked up and muscular. And, find me how many other 7 feet guys could do dives over the top rope when he was wrestling someone like Big Show or even powerbomb the Big Show. And I'm not, and everybody remembers the messed up one. They
Yes,
all
but
forget
there's a good one though too.
there's
There is a
three or four good ones.
yeah.
And then everybody's got to remember they did that on the house show loop leading up to the pay-per-view to make sure it could happen.
Ah,
And even Big Show back then, he came. They brought him over to the power plant to work with him too because he had very limited training at Larry Sharp's Monster Factory in New Jersey before they signed him. Um, Jody, as far as Jody's philosophy and booking, I get that from Nick, and it's I've been blessed that I was taught how to book originally by Johnny Rods, who learned how to book through Arnie Sculland, who was Vince McMahon Sr.'s right hand man. And then I was also trained by Johnny Rods' tag team partner. Okay, trivia question.
oh.
Johnny Rods and this person were a tag team their first tour of all Japan before this man went on to wrestle all over the United States and become one of the most prolific bookers in wrestling history. Name this Boston native.
Oh, Boston. Oh, Boston. Oh, that one threw me. No, I don't know. I don't
Come
know.
on, brother. You gotta know this one, brother. Come on.
No, I
I'm
don't got
gonna
it.
get the purple haze out the ocean. We were in Florida for many years with the purple
Oh,
haze.
Kevin Sullivan then.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
And
Okay.
yeah, so Kevin Sullivan was the other hand I had in it. And Jody's approach to booking, and Nick's is too, is uh more ground hard hitting. Hey, we don't need to tell an elaborate story why these two guys want to fight. We just want to make sure people believe that they're having a fight. So, because I mean, people get pissed off. You lived in Miami, you know what it's like in that nightclub scene. People get in fist fights every night that never met each other,
Several times a night. Yes.
all over I know, over the
Yes.
dumbest stuff. So we have,
Oh, we lost you for a second. You're there. Oh, you're there. Oh, oh. I think we're being the trans. It's being taken over by the New
I'm
World Order
sorry
right
about that. Can
now.
you hear
No,
me?
I think the New World Order just took over
Oh,
for a
hold on.
second.
I'm having an issue here now.
It's okay. We got you. We got you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I got you.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that.
It's all good.
Someone decided to call in the middle of my
They
diatribe.
always do.
Yes, they do. But yeah, do we have any other questions there? Or
Yeah. Well, here's a good question. I mean, somebody wants to know what is Atlanta Dairies because you guys are having a show there in like
yeah,
2 weeks.
yes. So the Atlanta Dairies is what used to be the big dairy factory in Atlanta off Memorial Drive. They've now turned it into one side of it is high-end apartments, and the other side of it connects to a music venue. And then they have this big, beautiful outside, and then you have uh, all these restaurants and nightclubs and bars that are all in there. And we did a Christmas show there back in December where everybody froze their ass off, and I thanked all of them for coming out. Believe it or not, colder than the coldest show in wrestling history, which I promoted too as the joke.
Okay.
Last year, January, we did a show, and I had a name for it and everything. And then, if you remember, the NFL games all got frozen over, and it was a
Yes.
whole big thing and everything. And then Atlanta had a cold streak here. They said it was going to be 22 degrees here. It wound up dropping down to 16. So we moved the show earlier in the day, and for the 2 weeks, for the week leading up, I started promoting it. I changed the name of the show, and it became the coldest show in wrestling history. And we did that show, and that was actually our smallest crowd we ever did at Das Barbecue, which was 300 people who still came out.
Which is crazy because I've quickly found out, only being an Atlanta native for 4 months, that when it snows, this city is shut down.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. It's actually been weird. We've been taking it light till it starts to warm back up, and I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's actually affected my mental health a little bit because I got used to running every month, 2 or 3 shows a month, and we've taken it so easy. We took the entire month of February, my birth month, off, but I was busy partying and having fun. But it's even with the team, talking to them, they're just like, because you got to remember, right before you got here, on the October show, I believe that was your first show where we had Pillman
No,
at.
it was November. It was I know
Okay.
Stunt and August were on on the card. So it was late this November or early
Yeah, it was
December.
November. It was
November.
November. October, when we had Lexus King on, that
Okay.
day we ran 3 shows in one day.
Okay.
Yeah, we called it and because I booked two, and I was like, yeah, we can do two, it'll be fine. And actually, it was four of them on that Saturday and Sunday altogether, 4 shows in 2 states. And so we called the Saturday the three-headed monster, and we ran at 3 different venues, with the last one being at New Realm Brewing that night, where we had Lexus King on the card. We're never doing a three-headed monster again.
Sounds like
And
a
then,
nightmare, to be honest.
oh, the whole team was dying. And
Yeah.
then the next day, we all had to get in the van and go to Greenville, South Carolina, to finish that one off. But the week before, we did 3 other shows, so we did a grand total of 7 shows in a 7-day period.
Yeah, that's a lot because even Greenville, South Carolina is still 2.5 hours ish
Three
from
and
the
a half,
Atlanta
brother.
area.
Three.
It's a
Yeah.
3.5. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's the fun one this weekend. I'm actually going to be with Gemma Jules, going to Bluefield, West Virginia, 6 hours away on
Oh,
Saturday,
okay.
to then drive 4 hours to Greenville, South Carolina for our show.
Which is this one
There it
right
is.
here.
Hey, there you go. There's the cheap plug. Yeah, March 9th at the New Realm Brewing in Greenville, South Carolina, right there in downtown Greenville. It is indoors, so don't worry if it's cold. Last time we were there, it was great. Of course, it's free for all, as we always say. The champ, Jacob Johnson's going to be in the house. Blindfold match. We're going to have Cruiser Lewis versus Black Cat Johnson, two of the great legends of the Greenville wrestling scene. Brino Royce, who's a big name in Greenville, Najacism, uh, the Infinite Man, Tim Lou. I still call him Timmy Lou Retton. That was his gimmick before that. So many great guys on that card. So I'm getting back to my grind again.
Yeah, it's Infinite Man Tim. At least the last time I talked to him back in June, it was
Yeah,
Infinite Man Tim. Yeah.
yeah.
Christina does have another question. What do you think has created this boom period, and do you think it's sustainable?
I don't think any form of sports entertainment's sustainable. It's always going to be peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys.
I
Good
think that's
example be
like the entertainment industry in a whole. I mean, look at like the movie industry right now is like,
well, the problem is the movie industry, they're just rehashing everything.
right. Yeah.
And once you're just rehashing everything that's already been done, and trying to make, try and make reboots of everything, and just, instead of creating something new, this is what happens. The WWE is creating something brand new. They're actually in a way create some brand new with going back to basics. I think I think the pandemic helped them a lot because I mean, geez, when they were going into the pandemic, things were looking pretty bleak. I mean, and it's funny because the pandemic kind of changed the way people watch wrestling now because the ratings aren't what matter anymore. Because people don't watch TV like they used to, where you can keep up with it that way, and that could be a metric of anything because that the ratings don't matter because of every way what people watch TV now. As proven now with WWE with this blockbuster deal on Netflix. I think with you know more of these streaming services and people going on to those, I think that helps. I think the fact that now that you don't have to, because when I was a kid, I had to choose.
Correct. Yes, we
I had,
did.
yeah, we had to watch. You'd watch the first hour of Nitro, and then you'd switch over to Raw to see what was going to happen on Raw. And then, if you knew how to sneak around, you knew an hour after Raw, Nitro would replay, and then you'd watch that
Correct.
until Nitro went 3 hours, and then it's like, I got to go to school tomorrow.
Yes. I used to have my
And
dad tape Raw in
yeah,
his room, and I would tape Nitro in my room. So
oh
then we
yeah,
would switch VHS tapes, because I
yeah,
was, oh, I mean, I was a hardcore.
yeah.
I am a hardcore
I could
WCW
tell
guy.
in the background with your
Yeah, see,
Nitro.
I got it. I got it back there. I truthfully am. I was a live and die, breathe WCW guy, and I told Nick Patrick that when I spoke to him, like
Yeah.
like that was my stuff. Like I was a WCW guy, so
See,
I would tape the 3 hours, and we would literally trade VCR tapes and watch them. We'd watch the opposite the next day.
yeah. I was growing up as a kid, I was a WWF fan.
Mhm.
And then I discovered ECW one lone Saturday night, and it was the Pitbulls versus the Public Enemies in a double dog collar tag team match. And then I'm seeing like 5 run-ins at the end of the match and everything, and it all ends with Luna Vachon and Tommy Dreamer standing in the ring posing after Tommy Dreamer picks this chick up in a skirt and pile drives her. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm 14 years old going, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's like, give me more, give me
Oh yeah.
more.
Oh, it was the best. And then, I lived in Queens, New York. So, and then they did a show, and it was winter break because you had to stay up. It was ECW came on at 2 o'clock in the morning on the MSG network. And I'm watching one week, and they're saying they're in New York during a Christmas break. And I realized they're on Queens Boulevard. And I'm like, wait, what the hell are they doing on Queens Boulevard? And I found out they started running the Lost Battalion Hall. So the second ever show they did in Queens called Big Apple Blizzard Blast, I'm at that show. And that was when Rob Van Dam and Chris Jericho first started with the company. They actually wrestled each other that night. Rey Mysterio and Juventud Guerrero were on the card.
The craziness of the talent that was on that
Oh, it was
card.
Cactus Jack's second to last weekend in the company before he went up to become Mankind. Bam Bam Bigelow did a random run in out of nowhere. Um, what else we have? Public Enemy versus the Gangsters. Two Cold Scorpio, Sandman. I mean, it's just an amazing roster of people. Brian Pillman was sitting in the crowd, the next one, and that's when they did the whole, Pillman held the baby up when Shane almost hit the baby, which I mean, and then after
God
that
bless
they
the 90s. God bless the
yes,
90s.
oh yeah, it's funny to tell some of the people that I train with the stories of what the 90s wrestling scene looked like. And how ECW was just the tip of the iceberg. You never seen what happened in Puerto Rico, which growing up in Miami, I know you used to get that on WAPA. You used to get the WWC and IWA. Did you ever get a chance to watch that?
No, not really.
Oh,
Wampa, well, technically, like I lived in Fort Lauderdale,
oh, okay,
and
yeah,
then
no, yeah, yeah,
like I
yeah,
literally lived across the street from Miami. And
yeah,
the last like 8 years I lived in Miami before, but I always worked in Miami. But it was like
yeah.
one of those things, so I didn't actually get it though.
Well, but you've seen the videos.
Yeah, it's craziness. It's
Yeah,
insanity.
No, not just Manny Fernandez dropping the knee on the Invader and that tomato juice and blood flying out of him. That's always fun. They jump in Carlos Colon while he's in the shower naked with a black bar, and I'm like, wait, what is this? Why are they attacking a naked man? Uh,
It's the 90s.
oh,
Cherry Bomb says hashtag VHS. She has a lot of love for the VHS fans out
hell
there.
yeah. But
No, oh no,
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead,
No,
sir.
I was gonna say, we talked about the product in the '90s, right? Like it was definitely and everything. Like I'm a huge Married with Children guy. I'm a huge
Oh
Simpsons
yeah,
guy. I grew up with Guns N' Roses and Wu Tang and Dre,
yeah.
like gangster rap. Like people were always trying to censor that back then, but they didn't really have a lot of luck to that. And it was definitely a different time period. So what would you say is maybe the behind the scenes difference from like maybe the when you were up and comer at the age of 14 when you started your professional wrestling career to like the young guys and the young wrestlers that you're seeing come into the business today?
Well, okay. I'll start this by saying whenever ECW came to the Elks Lodge, Johnny used to send me and my tag team partner Richie and all them for us to go set up the ring for ECW at the Elks Lodge. So the first locker rooms I saw in pro wrestling were ECW locker rooms. There was some
That's for
fun.
that's for your tell-all book later on, Eric.
So
I'm not going to make you
there was
say anything
oh
publicly
no.
about it.
Yeah, so there was I mean there are trust me, there are stories I could tell you, but
Yeah. We'll have a
um
private lunch conversation one day.
well yeah, I know I got a few food spots because you look like a big back boy like me that me and you
Oh
can
yeah,
get
I
some
can, I
food
can
in.
take it down. Come on, that's
All
part
right.
of what I love about having wrestling at these breweries. Is I can
Yeah,
indulge in a double cheesburger and
yeah.
fries.
You're welcome. I'm the guy who started it and
Thank
everybody else.
you. We
I brought
appreciate it. We appreciate it.
one of my favorite Kevin Sullivan quotes when everybody else started doing it. He's like, brother, you brought the bitch to the dance and everybody else tried to leave with her, but they got the ugly friend.
Oh, okay.
But you know, the locker room is different in the form of mm, oh fuck it, I'll just say it, I don't care. In our locker room in Deep South, there is a real feel of everyone doesn't just try to get along, they do get along. Because I've made a very simple fucking rule, and I tell everybody this before the shows happen, and I'll go behind the curtain even further because you've been around the indie scene long enough. We pay our talent 2 days before the show. I don't want to worry about their money. And let's be honest, it's the indies. There's not a lot of money. So I'll pay people ahead of time. And what that does is that puts people in a mindset when they have their money already, I can focus on the match and I can have a good time. And that's what the boys do. And I have a locker room full of people where I don't have friend hirings. I hire people because I think they're special. I think they're talented. I think they have something to give back, that they have something to give that makes them special. And when you treat people that way and you let them know that they're special and you fucking take care of them and pay them ahead of time and have food for them backstage and you try and take them out afterwards to have drinks, even if it's just a soda after the words where we're all hanging out, and you remind people and give them opportunities. We're the only promotion that's sent people to Booker T's school because we're not a wrestling school. We're a wrestling promotion. We sent three of our guys to Booker T's, and we're going to be sending more guys to Booker T's, and Booker's sending us guys. We have people, NXT guys coming in, and just stay tuned.
Okay.
And we have that. Now we have the Japan deal. So when you give people opportunities to grow past your product, because here's the thing, I made no money. There was a situation that happened here in Georgia that destroyed the wrestling scene, period, everywhere. And when that tragic situation happened, all business went down. The WWE saw some of its lowest numbers, and on the independents, nobody was coming out. I swear to you, there were shows I was booked on. where I wrestle. Oh God, I did a show. Me and Reed Flair, we were wrestling a lot because I was living in Charlotte.
Yeah, I
We
saw the
went.
YouTube video actually when I
Yeah.
Googled your name a couple days
Yeah,
ago. Yeah.
yeah. It was Reed's
Yeah.
birthday anniversary a few days ago. I really loved that kid. He was a really special kid. But we were doing great in Charlotte, and we went to do a show right over by Myrtle Beach. 4 people in the crowd, clear skies. We were going to be late to the show, and the owner got his own private plane that he owned, picked us up, and flew us to the show. Like, and 4 people at the show. And we still went out and did 20 minutes because we're idiots. But no, those 4 people paid for tickets, so we gave them what they want. We gave them their money's worth. And, you know, now there is an opportunity for guys to make monies, and there's more spots because, by the time I turned 21, the 2 major companies folded, and a lot of WCW and ECW were gone. And then so now there was only one place to work, and then um, that's when everybody in Japan started opening up their own companies if they weren't getting over the way they wanted to. So you saw like uh, All Japan, all of a sudden Noah came from there, and there was the big excursion of everybody leaving there. And then in New Japan, you had 01 open up. And then Tatsuji Fujinami did Wrestle Aid, which is the one I got to go work. All these different little independent companies started opening up. And so even the money went down in Japan. And in Mexico, you had Conan, who was doing promo as Tekka to go against AAA, which was going against CMLL. And it was just everybody was fracturing. And then a lot of the promoters that on the independent levels where you could make money. I mean, oh, fuck it. I'll give this piece. My first independent shot I did, I made $150. And that was pretty good money. And then in 2003, when I moved to Knoxville, Tennessee, dramatically the money started dropping. Dramatically. And it stayed there for a while, and then it started getting better. And then that situation that I was talking about happened in Georgia. And, you know, for a long time there was no money. And I want to see these kids make money. I want to see them try and achieve their goals. And I can't give them their dreams. But what I can do, along with Nick and with Marty, is try and give these guys opportunities that I never got to see. And that's what matters to me because um look, man, I'm never gonna be a rich man. I'm a fucking Puerto Rican kid from Queens, New York. I'm a you get a rat, you put a wife beater with some grease on it and a slice of pizza in its mouth, and it's the same thing you're looking at right now. Okay, that's who I am. I'm gonna work odd jobs till the day I die. I'm gonna and I'm fine with that. I don't care about being rich. It's not about making money for me. I just want to see people do good with the opportunities that I should have jumped on
Mm.
and give them better opportunities than I saw. And that's it. So when
Well,
you
look.
have something like that, that's a long way answer to
Yeah.
say, when you invest in your people, they invest back in you. And that's why I like to think our shows stand out because it's always a party, it's always fun, and you see them do stuff. You see characters and people do things that you don't see them do anywhere else and stand out in ways that they don't anywhere else. And I attribute that to giving them a platform to do it. A good example would be CT Entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, CT Entertainment, yeah, I love everything he's done. He's busted his ass. He's worked hard. You know, he decided that he wanted to do this character, and he started wearing the suits, and you started seeing the work come along. And I mean, that kid's come a long way, man. He's come a really long way. Just as one example of many. Professor Payne.
That was the match that was on my mind. Professor Payne versus Remarkable Ryan Rembrandt at the
Yeah.
last show that I went to. Man,
Yeah, Ryan Rembrandt. Listen, Ryan
the
Rembrandt's a
detention
kid.
hall match. Yeah.
Yeah. But Ryan Rembrandt's one of those kids that people gave up on, and they were so stupid for that because I heard a story, and I'm not going to repeat it publicly, but That's the same. These are the same. That was at the same time I was interested in Ryan Rembrandt, and to see people legitimately look at Ryan Rembrandt and be like, that's not the guy," was just the fucking stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. Because Ryan Rembrandt's special, and all you had to do is look at the storyline with him and Professor Payne, and look at what's coming in the near future with the guy. The guy looks like $1 million, handsome, can work, can get heat, and he's just got to keep growing, and he's growing it. And I'm telling you, Ryan Rembrandt, no matter what company it's for, is going to be a huge star one day.
Yeah, very talented and a good dude outside the ring as well too. Yeah,
Fantastic,
yeah.
fantastic, fantastic person.
Um, Now, publicly, you when I was at the Deep South Wrestling, you said that Deep South was taping to promote the shows and try to sell it to television.
Yes.
Any hopes for that? Any updates for that, Eric?
So the last show we did, unfortunately, everything kind of fell a little sideways. It was raining.
Yeah, it was raining and cold. Yeah, it's all the
Yeah,
elements.
running a show when it's raining outside. To do a 24-hour turnaround for proof of concept is very hard, and especially with everything that had to go in with the rain, and rain and outdoors just don't work.
They don't. Yeah,
Who would have known turkeys couldn't fly?
right.
But thank you for getting that reference. I
I
appreciate you.
do. Yes.
But we're gonna do it again, and it's gonna be great. And March 23rd at New Realm Brewing, we're gonna do another proof of concept taping. We're still working on it, and there is interest. We're just going about it differently.
Okay.
But no, there is interest. Um, the deal is on the table. We just have to. I want to make sure, and Nick wants to make sure, and Marty wants to make sure that it's the best presentation of the product that we can give.
Which makes sense because the first
And also
impression is
losing your main
everything.
event, and also losing your main
Well,
event on that show.
yes, yes. Skrilla the Great, I know, couldn't make it to the show. I remember he was supposed to be on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Zilla got injured, so he couldn't make the
Right.
show. And Skrilla just showed it was time for him that he was ready to start doing other things.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and Skrilla did some great stuff for us, and we're thankful for what he did in the past. And but it was time. Skrilla wanted to do other things, so
Okay.
he
Fair
he's
enough.
doing great.
Well, let's move in a different direction here because I know Ron the Truth Killings. He was
Yeah.
on an episode with, of course, Chris Van Vliet, and he name drops you on his interview that you kind of had a hand in helping him get of course, probably the best wrestling movie ever made, The Wrestler. That you
Yeah.
helped him get a role in that movie.
So longest story told in the shortest manner. When I first started trying to find wrestling schools and get into wrestling, um, I found I used to get all the newsletters. I used to use the money I made, and I'd buy newsletters. And one of them was Wrestling Then and Now, which was done by Evan Ginsberg. Evans Ginsberg was also the talent agent for Nikolai Volkov. Um, uh, oh God, what's the name? Oh God, Nicole Bass, handsome, luscious Johnny Valiant, um, and he was the associate producer for the movie The Wrestler. There's a bigger story I could tell, and I will tell you it off air because you would
Okay.
never believe it. But there's a lot of men who owe me a thank you in this world. Not say that, and it involves Mila Kunis. Anyway,
Oh, okay. Definitely a
um,
story for later, Eric.
oh yeah. So anyway, oh no, that's for my book.
Oh, no, yeah, sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
you're even going to charge me for that story. I see it
Oh no,
coming.
no, 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 I'm not. I'm not going to charge you for it, but
Okay.
I gave enough of a name drop, and if you look at Darren Aronofsky's other movies, and you look into the original script of The Wrestler, you'll realize what happened, and you'll go, "Oh."
Okay.
But
Okay. There's the clues, everybody. There's the clues.
So, and at the time I was back home working in New York City at Caroline's Comedy Club in Times Square as
Oh, I think he's getting another phone call right now. Everybody wants to blow up Eric's cell phone right now in the middle of his interview. Come on. This is not a paid advertisement from the New World Order right now. Eric is, I'm sure, getting a phone call right now. Well, for those of you that don't know, while we're waiting for Eric to get back on, if you haven't checked out Tone and Entertainment recently, oh, I think he's coming. I think he's coming. On my Instagram today, we dropped a awesome vignette. Yeah, we just lost Eric for a second. We just dropped an awesome vignette of Elijah Drago. This past Saturday, I was at Charlie's Collectible Show, and we talked about him earlier here in this interview, but I got to interview Big Sexy Kevin Nash himself, and Eric is coming back in. There we go. Hold on. Let's get Eric. I was just talking about what's on my channel while we waited for you to come back on there.
the interview with Kevin Nash you did over the weekend. How great was it interviewing him, man?
It was very cool. There it is right there. I was going to promote it at the end of the show, but yeah.
Kevin Nash never gets enough credit for something that he did for everyone in the business and kind of an inspiration of why I do what I do now. If you
Okay.
remember, before Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, there were no guarantee contracts in the
Well,
wrestling business.
yes.
Kevin Nash is the reason everybody's money went up and everybody started getting guaranteed contracts where they can make more money in this business. Because the guaranteed contract originally for WWE was something like 100 dates at a guarantee of $150. Literally, that's what they would put on paper, and then you'd make what you really made. But
Right.
yeah, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall were the guys who changed the entire business to where it became a guaranteed contract business. So he has all the love and respect in the world from me for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, everything changed
Oh,
back then.
the wrestler story, as we were saying.
Yes.
So I was working at Caroline's Comedy Club in Times Square as a doorman there. I replaced Idris Alba. What's the actor's name?
Yes, he was on The Office for a little
No,
bit,
no, no. The
right?
black guy from
Yeah.
Oz. I know the black guy who's supposed to play James Bond. He was
Yeah,
also
yeah,
in
that's him.
Suicide
Yeah,
Squad.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
yeah.
Idris Alba. Yeah, I replaced him.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the doorman at Caroline's after, while he was doing The Wire and everything else. And who knows, maybe he will be James Bond here in the future. But and I used to hang out at this bar in Williamsburg called Duff's. It's a famous metal bar. If you ever seen the show, that metal show that was on VH1 years ago, 2 seasons they filmed it at Duff's. Anyway, Aronofsky's offices are right there, and I met Darren Aronofsky and had a fun time talking to him. Reminded me of Kermit the Frog when he talked. Oh, hello, how you doing there? So
That's very distinct.
yeah, so I used to call him Kermit. And I was like, Kermit, you got to come to Duff's and come check it out.
You
He's
literally
like,
called him Kermit then.
yes, I call people what I think. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, if you ever seen Big Mouth, you ever seen
Okay.
Lola?
I have not. No.
You need to look up when we're done with this
Okay.
Big Mouth and look up the character Lola, and then I want you to look at Gemma Jules again.
Okay. I'm writing it down
And
right now. Big Mouth
yes,
Lola. Okay, gotcha.
wait, we got YouTube here. Let's pull it up. Trust me. Just
Okay.
type in Big Mouth and then type in Lola, and I guarantee you, everybody watching will understand as soon as they see it. We
Okay.
got YouTube here.
Yeah, I'm going to it now. Okay. Hold on. Let's see.
It's going to be the first clip where she's sitting at a desk.
This
Trust me.
is Big
I'm
Mouth Lola.
taking over your show. Yeah, Lola. Lola.
Okay, so it's a cartoon, right? Big
Yes.
Mouth. Okay, let's pull it
Yeah,
up here.
put this one up. Trust me.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm taking over your show.
Entire country from the Native American.
Oh, no, not that one. She's in a classroom.
Oh, she's in the class. Okay, this was the first one. This one here, then I think.
Oh, no. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one right there.
Well, Pierce, but at Home Depot because the girl at Claire said my loaves were too tough for their fucking machine.
And there's Gemma Jules, ladies and
Well, okay.
gentlemen. Don't worry. She'll kick my ass for that
But
another
she
day.
may kick my ass for it now for
Oh,
just
she's
one of
not going to do
that.
nothing to me. No, she's
She's
not going to do
scary.
shit.
She's scary.
Listen, listen. I don't live with her, so I don't have to deal with it. But maybe you do. I don't know. She likes being interviewed, so you will have to deal with this. But no. So I told him to come to Duff's, and they already had casted almost everything. And while he was at Duff's, my friend that I was seeing at the time, she was like, "Hey, when's your friend coming back? When's your friend coming back?" Talking about Ronnie, our Truth, who had just been released from TNA and he was in New York doing some music stuff. And he's like, "Oh, he's a wrestler." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, man, and he's actually very entertaining." And I don't like to say that Truth likes to say I got them to hold a special audition for him. I I like to think Truth, just being himself, sold himself to get that special edition. But it's a very really nice gesture that he would say something like that. I love Ronnie to death. We've been friends for many years, actually. When he got let go by the WWE the first time as K Quick was at the first time I got fired from Puerto Rico after punching the wrong person because I thought it was a fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I didn't know that the security there is usually police officers. So, yeah, these things
Lesson
happen.
learned.
Oh,
Maybe.
I was trying to get, there's a baseball stadium. So I was trying to get in the dugout to get the hell away. And the people are starting to like dive down in front to get to me. And so I'm just swinging, trying to get away like it's a mosh pit. And kind of, and that was a cop's face. So, yeah, kind of had to be
Mhm.
fired. And, I had a lot of heat because I was a Puerto Rican doing a gimmick where I was trying to make Puerto Rico the 51st state.
Oh,
And I
okay.
refused to speak Spanish. And yeah, I only spoke English to the crowd and used the name Eric Adams, which, surprise, surprise, might not be my real name.
Right.
But, so we had both just been released, and Johnny was running a run of shows that weekend. And this is my most embarrassing story. I'm wrestling the Musketeer on this card, and it's in my hometown of Astoria, Queens, at the Astoria Sports Complex. And I'm wrestling the Musketeer, and Johnny has decided he's going to give me a new gimmick called Wacky Eric Adams, where I
Oh,
come to the ring with a puppet called Mr. Blue, and I hang and talk to it and everything. Now, mind you, my girlfriend at the time is graduating. It's a year after me. She's graduating high school, and all my friends from high school are there. And I decide, because the new Star Wars movie came out, I said, "Get me a lightsaber. I'm going to do a little duel thing with the Musketeer." The referee is a fantastic professional wrestler and promoter, Gino Caruso. Gino Caruso standing there in the ring. I'm trying to tell Gino, you got to move out the way. Roger's coming with this fencing foil, which is a real fencing foil. And he doesn't listen. And Musketeer swings it out and says, "On guard," swings forward. I duck. The foil hits him right here. I think Gino Caruso's lost his eyeball. And I'm like, "Oh God." And then Roger's still coming with it again. So I have to duck again. Almost get hit in the head, then the jump the legs and the back. Meanwhile, I'm like, this referee just lost his eye. I just cost Gino Caruso his eyeball, which Gino was on an independence level, in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, pretty recognizable name, and an Italian guy, know, so Astoria had its run of very nice Italian men back then who kind of loved Gino Caruso. So who knows what could have happened? And so Gino Caruso has to leave the ring. And this is my first match with my New York State Athletic Commission license. And like, oh, I just lost it. And they
right.
won't let me come to the back. So I'm really losing my mind, and we're just standing in the ring. And then all of a sudden, after about 4 minutes, Tommy Jeanette says, "This match will continue until the referee comes back out to finish." So me and Roger had to finish the match with no referee for about a good 12 minutes until Gino came back out, and you can see on the tape the entire time, like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Meanwhile, Roger's not saying shit, and he's the one who hit the fucking guy. The Musketeer hit Gino. So that night, we had to travel to the next town in the Poconos in Bushkill, Fernwood Resort. They filmed Monday Night Raw, some of the early year stuff there. And we get there, and Ronnie's on the shows with us because he had just got released, and he's wrestling Lil Guido, Maritato, Nunzio, whatever you want to call him. Great worker, Billy Robinson trained shooter. Love that guy to death. And Truth sees me, and he's like, rough night, huh, kid? I was like, you can say that. I was like, so I get to the hotel room, and he sees the door open, and he sees there's like 12 of us in this one hotel room. And he's like, nah, dog, I got an extra bed. You can crash in my room. So literally didn't know me from Adam, but had a spare bed in his room. So he let me crash in his room. And that's how me and Truth's relationship began. And we've been friends many a years. I love his kids to death. I love his family. I love his wife. I was honored to be one of his groomsmen in his wedding, which is really the funniest picture ever because I'm the combo breaker.
Okay.
And yeah, no, to tell you how good of a man R-Truth is. They did a tribute to the troops one year. He wound up catching double pneumonia. He was in the hospital for 3 weeks. He couldn't leave the hospital. My mother had a stroke his second day back in Charlotte. The man, second day where he was allowed out in public, went to the hospital just to visit my mother and sit and hang out with her while I was at work. I didn't ask him to do that. He did that on his own. That's the kind of person R-Truth is. And that's the person Ron Killings is. And that's why I love Ron Killings to death. And he's I call him Big Brother. He calls me Little Brother. And because we're 10 years apart in age. So, I'm 142, he's 152.
There you go.
Oh, excuse me, I'm 143, he's 153.
Okay, there. Let's get the facts straight here,
Yeah.
Eric. Yeah.
But yeah, he's immortal.
Yeah.
As we all joke, they literally call him immortal backstage because you look at a picture of him in TNA and you look at a picture of him now, same person.
Amazing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I've never had the chance to meet him, but I've heard nothing but good stuff about him. One of my favorite promos of all time actually he's not even in it, but he's mentioned it. It's the Lex Luger promo where he's trying to fight Ron the Truth Killings.
And your shirts don't even fit right, Billy.
T-shirts are too tight too, but who's Billy? Do you know who Billy is, Eric?
Billy Firehawk was the promoter for NWA Cyberspace in New Jersey.
Okay, so that's because the T-shirts are too tight for Billy's T-shirts are too tight.
And if you remember Billy Firehawk, he was also the guy who sat in the crowd at all the TNA Impact pay-per-views in Florida in the front row with a belt, the really big, heavy set Native American looking guy.
Okay.
That was Billy Firehawk. He was the promoter of NWA Cyberspace, and he used to bring in Lex Luger and R-Truth and all those guys. Funny story that involves that. Lex Luger gave R-Truth his Mean Joe Green Pittsburgh Steelers throwback jersey, which then R-Truth gave to me, which last I remember, I think now Danny Deals from NWA now has that jersey because he's a diehard Pittsburgh fan. So as a wedding gift, I gave him that Mean Joe Green jersey.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Yeah. Well, here's one for you, Eric, because my wife is here in the chat, and she says, I hear the promo at least once a day because even today we got a notification for a package, to pick up in our box. And she's like, oh, is the package for me? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just one of my favorites of all time.
Oh, it's the best.
It's
Absolutely.
Just so
No, trust me. I have a long reigning list of favorite terrible promos. I mean, Jumping Jeff Farmer is up there as always.
Okay.
Did you ever see the Jumping Jeff Farmer promo?
No, I probably have, but
okay. Jumping Jeff Farmer. It's from the California independent scene. He would later go on to become Fake Sting.
Okay, right.
But you have to see it's mentioned as the worst promo in wrestling history on YouTube if you look it up.
Okay, a promo. Let's see promo. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
Jumping Jeff Farmer. If you type in Jumping Jeff Farmer,
best wrestling promo ever. I think this is him. Let's see here. Let me bring the.
for the love of God, please be
Okay.
it.
What a match you had with Motley.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Probably the hardest match I ever had in my life. But I don't like it when things aren't going my way. Motley Cruz, you turn the tables on me. You turn the tables in a wrong way. You got me mad now. I've stood around. I've listened to everything you had to say. I did everything necessary. But when you turn around and you backstab me one way or another, and you cheat me out of what's rightfully mine, that's when I get angry. Now I'm the one doing the challenging. I'm issuing a challenge to you, Motley Cruz. Get in the ring with me. This time, I'm going full force.
Jumping Jeff Farmer. Now let's go to the ring.
Another great one like that is it's a Lucha Libre show in New York where they brought in Anticristo. I got to send it to you one day. And
Okay.
no, you can watch it if you want. I'll watch it all day and night. But this is the Latino wrestling fans and you who grew up around Latino culture. You'll
Yeah.
appreciate why this promo with the Anticristo is the greatest promo.
Is it like him in like an army fatigues or something? No.
Yes, with a
Oh, it
mask.
is. Yeah, I think so. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. I pulled this one up. I don't know. It was a short.
Oh no, that's not it.
No.
No, Anticristo promo.
Let's see. I'm trying to find it. No. Anticristo Ramirez. No.
No.
I'll look for it. Okay.
That stinks.
It's okay.
But yeah. No, terrible promos. I have an entire playlist of the worst promos in wrestling history for one reason or another. Whether they're just flat out racist, whether they're just really terribly worded, whether somebody's threatening the most physically disgusting, grueling thing that they're going to do to a person ever. And then there's a whole bunch of them where it's just white people using the N-word for no reason.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Which
yeah.
I'm just like, what the hell's the matter with you guys?
Yeah.
Who gave a thumbs down just now?
I don't know. I've never seen that happen. I think you get. I don't know. Don't you know I got one of the biggest legend stars ever in this?
His shirt's too tight, Billy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's all good. Thumbs down count as interaction, so it's all good.
All right, good. As long as they're interacting. Maybe one day I'll come back on here and we'll do an entire episode just on my vault of terrible wrestling stuff.
We should do that. We should do that for sure.
I'm gonna break out the vaults for you. We'll sit down together at a bar and do that one.
We'll do that. Yeah, for sure.
We'll do it on New Realm. If I talk them into it, they'll let me do it at New Realm on like a random Thursday or Wednesday night.
Okay, that could be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, if we can do something with that, that'll be fun.
Okay, that's yeah. I'm trying to expand my horizons, so yeah, definitely that could be a good time. One of the final questions I do want to get to. I mean, outside of the wrestling, and you mentioned something about being on an episode of Jerry Springer at one time.
Yeah. So a buddy of mine had the job where it was a really tough job. He used to bring in the adult performers that would dance on the Too Hot for TV specials.
Okay.
And really hard job.
Those VHS tapes again, right? Like
the VHS, the pay-per-views. And so his whole job was to fly with them to Chicago, eat and drink for free and party, and then send them back home. And a buddy of mine who I started with the business with, Cowboy Billy Walker, he was one of the guys who got me my first security job. He was one of the first guys to help me in the ring. I love him very much. Him and his wife, Texas Rose. They Cowboy was going through a health crisis, stage 4. Excuse me, I think it was, yeah, stage 4 intestinal cancer, prostate and intestinal cancer, and he was needed to make some extra money, and he wanted to make some extra money, and he always was fun to entertain with. And I was trying to get that job because he was telling me that he wasn't going to be able to do that job much longer because his wife was getting mad at him. And I figured, maybe if I put together a good little gig, we can all go and do that. And so they got their neighbor Molly involved in it to be my girlfriend. And I went on there with the Steven Seagal ponytail and made sure to make her as angry as I could before we went out there, and took the loudest slap I've ever heard in my life. And then a brawl so bad that it was actually censored from television.
Wow, you got
Yeah,
censored on Jerry Springer. That is like,
yeah. Which and I thought I was going to get away with it because I'm like, oh, everybody works, nobody's home at 11 o'clock anymore. And the next thing I know, a blizzard hit the entire Northeast the day it aired. Everybody was home and saw the episode. And that's what I learned. Oh God.
I mean, we didn't think back then either that like all this would be on demand for everybody to see. Because I get it on like Facebook all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, like I just get random Jerry Springer clips like put in my algorithm, and of course I can't not watch them.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Oh no,
more
it's
and
on.
more.
The problem is a fan uploaded the footage of me onto YouTube, and then the Jerry Springer show just recently put the footage back out.
Right.
So it's been a resurgence of everybody going, "Why the hell are you on the Jerry Springer show?" but
Had to
yeah,
make a couple bucks. I mean,
hey, I made a couple bucks, and for a little while there, I had a good little gig going. And Jerry was a cool guy, and Steve was a great guy. Toby was great. All of them were great.
Yeah. Do you think daytime talk shows ever like that make a comeback? 'Cause, man, those are such a like a guilty pleasure. At least again, another '90s thing.
So
Probably
here's how I look at it. The reason I run Atlanta is because I can still run a family show, and the the parents are more down to earth, as to where, yeah, we curse around our kids and stuff like that. Doesn't mean I'm cursing every 3 minutes, but if a curse word comes out in one match at one point, like with Cody on Saturday, that's not a word a parent, a parent has said that word around their kid even by mistake one time. So it's more forgiving. The problem is, and I don't want to get political because I'm not political, but I feel like there's been a switch. And again, to me, it's all pro wrestling, and I don't like politics, and it all comes down to I don't like authority. Um, I don't like authority, so fuck all of them. Um, the conservative party has now become the outlandish party, and
mm,
the liberal party has become very conservative. And I feel as if nobody wants to understand there's a balance to where one minute you can see this and the next minute you can see this and you can change the channel. But I think with, the birth of all these a la carte services now, like Netflix and Amazon and stuff like that, I think there's a chance to bring back some wild and wacky stuff like that. The problem is I fear I'm gonna let you in on some inside baseball. Not all of Jerry Springer was scripted.
okay.
There were real families with real issues that went on there every week. And that's what got Jerry Springer over. That's what got Richard Bay over. That's what got Ricky Lake over.
Right.
The thing that really hurt all of them was the shooting on the murder that happened from Jenny Jones.
Right.
Um, I think it can I think it would have to be something brand new. I mean, obviously it can't be Jerry, which what a cliffhanger for him to go on. Did you ever see his actual living will
No, I
video?
have not. No.
Oh, it was the greatest swerve job ever. His 3 kids are in the video, and he's talking about another child he had with another wife, and he's getting all the money. Jerry himself in his own living will.
Wow.
Yes, it's the best. It's the best. I love Jerry for it. But yeah, so my point is stuff like that I can see making a comeback. It's just gonna take, everybody working together, people being willing to take the risk. And I can see them taking the risk and I can see it all working out. It's just who's gonna take the risk? Who's gonna dip their toe in the water first? Just like which service was willing to put a couple $1 billion into the WWE.
Right.
Which got which place was willing to put some money into Deep South so we can run shows. I think if we can keep along the path we're on now, there's an opportunity for a lot of things to work out and to come up, and it's just a matter of who's willing to take the risks.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
look at you taking risks. You moved from Fort Lauderdale, Miami, to Atlanta, Georgia, and you're still doing this. You're taking a risk. Risk is what makes the world work. And if we didn't take risks, we wouldn't have iPhones. And
Right.
so, yeah, it's just been crazy with everything. But sorry, I got a text message that I wasn't expecting. But
No, it's all good. It's all good. Well,
but
Deep South. No, go ahead.
but yeah, so that's the main thing. Take risks. I'm taking big risks right now, and I couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier.
Right. It's those risks, that make us tick, keep us going, get us out of bed in the morning, when everything else seems mundane in the world. Taking those
Yeah,
risks lights that fire for us. Um,
absolutely.
I know we mentioned Deep South has 3 shows coming up here in the month of March. So we did mention this Sunday, March 9th, out in Greenville, South Carolina
That's right.
is
The champ is here. Jacob Johnson doing a title defense in Greenville, South Carolina. We got about 5 great matches. We hope to see you all there. Indoor show. Saturday, March the 22nd. Who's
right
ready?
there.
3 p.m. The Atlanta Dairies. Um, you're going to see the second round of the tag team title tournament actually that night happen, and a special battle royal. Like I mentioned before, we don't know who's fighting Zilla Fatu when he comes back in April. We're going to do a battle royal that night. And the last 2 participants are going to go on to the next day, March the 23rd, to face off at We Ready. And the winner of that match will be the person who takes on Zilla Fatu in our April show. It'll be the finals for the Deep South Tag Team Tournament. First time we'll have tag team champions since 2008. What else do we have on that card? We got that card stacked and loaded. Gemma Jules is on all the cards. Stunt Marshall, Nausism, all our great talent. August Artois is on the cards. Taylor Gain. There you go. 2 of your Florida cats, Taylor Gainey and Alex Artois will be. August Artois will be
August
on the
Artois.
shows.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. T Gaines and August Artois coming up here.
Yeah,
Can I say something about this March 22nd flyer, though, Eric?
sure. Yeah.
Hate right there.
And you guys are going to get to hear the new Stunt Marshall theme song on that show. By the
Oh,
way,
shit.
did you see his new job?
Yes, he's with the Savannah. But I was actually having a conversation with him today because he was down in Miami this past week, and I reposted a
Yeah.
picture. He's like, "Brother, were you there?" I said, "No, but I'll be at the one in Atlanta on the 29th of March. I
Yeah.
am going to that show. I got my tickets for that
Yeah,
one."
he's
So, yeah.
so he's not Savannah Banana. He's
No,
he's
he's
a party
like the
crasher.
party, the party
Yeah, party
crashers. Yes,
crashers. Yeah,
yeah.
he's with the heel team.
Oh, the heel, correct. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
against the Savannah Bananas,
yeah,
right?
it's him and
Yeah,
CV Suave. They're doing a great job, and I love to see it. And yeah, I'm really happy for him. But Stun will be on all the cards this month. Nausism, the Infinite Man Tim is on the cards. August Artois, T Games, Gemma Jules. Like I said, we're gonna crown new tag team champions. We're gonna figure out who's wrestling Zilla Fatu in April, and who knows what other twists and turns are gonna come our way. These 2 shows, March 22nd and March 23rd. I'll give you a little sneak peek. This sets up the rest of the year.
Oh shit, some big stuff. It's yeah, big stuff happening then for the rest of the year.
Oh yeah.
The weekend of March 22nd, March 23rd with Deep South Wrestling at the Atlanta Dairies and at
That's
New
right.
Realm Brewery.
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
Definitely.
well, Eric, thank you so much for your time tonight. Lots of good insight, both with Deep South and into a little bit of your backstory as well, too.
No, and I really appreciate talking with you, Tony. Usually I see you on show day, so we don't get a lot of time to talk, and it was good to get to know you and good to actually talk a little. Now we got to go out and grab a drink, and
You don't have to twist my arm there, Eric.
definitely we'll go to New Realm one of these off nights, and we'll go ahead and grab a drink or two, and we'll go ahead and I'll show you some of my favorite terrible promos and everything of that nature.
Yeah, deal for sure.
Definitely.
Well, Eric, where can people follow you or Deep South Wrestling? What do you want to promote there?
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook, Deep South Wrestling. You can go on our website, wearedeepsouth.com, for all our upcoming dates. Our YouTube channel is up, and we are uploading matches all the time. So go ahead, check out some of these great matches that we've had and that we're going to continue to have in the future. That's the main stuff. This Sunday, New Realm Brewing, Greenville, South Carolina. March 22nd, Atlanta Dairies, 3 p.m. March 23rd, New Realm Brewing. We got a lot going on, and everything's getting ready to take off. If you've made it out to a Deep South show, I love you, and thank you so much for everything you've ever done to help me live my dream. Thank you for helping support these great people. We are nothing without you. Nothing. And I mean that when I say that. Without you guys, we are nothing, and we owe you everything, and we will continue to give you the best product we can every chance we get.
Awesome. I can't wait. I will definitely be at the show on March 22nd. That's for sure. I haven't been to the Atlanta Dairy, so I'm definitely ready to check out that venue.
Definitely,
see
man.
what's going down. As for us here on Toned In Entertainment, tomorrow, my recap from Charlie's Collectibles with Big Sexy Kevin Nash and all the crazy stuff, the cosplay, the wrestling, everything that went down. A big recap video dropping tomorrow here on the channel. Eric, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
And guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that red subscribe button so you can stay tuned in here to Toned In Entertainment for future videos.
Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.